Hi, thank you so much for joining us today. My name is Tanya Joyner-Scott, and I'm here with Mrs. Cheryl Theriault, the owner and president of Aging Family Services. Hi, Cheryl. How are you today?
I'm great, Tanya. Thanks for being here.
Awesome, awesome. Well, I had the opportunity to talk with you a little while ago about the things that you're doing with geriatric care management, and today we just wanted to get back with you again because we wanted to tell our viewers, we just found out that there's so many questions out there. People are searching, and even for many of us, we don't always know that you have a service that we need. So we wanted to come back with you today and just kind of talk and ask you a few questions to share with our viewers, just to kind of help us along in this process. So we thank you so much for doing that for us.
Well, thank you. I think it is, we try not to keep it a secret, but it's a well-kept secret. What is a geriatric care manager, and what do we do, and how do you find one? So I'm happy for us to move that process along.
Well, you know what? You're just a highly intelligent woman, because you've already started into the very first question that I have, which is why? Why would I need a geriatric care manager?
There are lots of circumstances that people find themselves in. There are spouses who are caring for their loved one as a caregiver to their spouse, and they're worried sometimes, what's going to happen to my spouse if something happens to me? And they want to address those issues before something happens and try to put a plan together. And we can be part of that plan. We can help them develop a plan for emergency.
Right.
There are families who have tried to find the services that they feel like they need, or that their loved one needs, and they make phone calls and they make visits to places, and they still are confused and no further down the road than when they first started.
Wow.
And they think, when they learn about a care manager, we call it one-stop shopping. We can tell you about everything there that you need to know with one person, and direct you specifically to the services that you need by providing referrals, names, phone numbers, how the system works, how to access the system. There are some families that use our help because they want to move their loved one here to be near them, and they don't know where to look, what it would be the right place for their loved one to live. Usually they're not going to come and live with them in their home. There are other families that we help move their loved ones out of the Triangle area to be near them. We work with families who don't live in this area, but their loved one lives in the area, and they are concerned about how their loved one is doing, and we make home visits. We monitor how things are going. We stay in touch with the out-of-area relative. We can go to medical appointments with those people. We can oversee their care. We can make recommendations for changes in the care as the needs change. Let's see, another circumstance, families aren't in agreement all the time about what mom or dad need. And they find that calling in a professional can help cut through all of the family stuff and just let someone who doesn't have a vested interest in the situation make some recommendations to
It sounds like it's almost like with what you guys do, there's like a jack of all trades, if you will. When we think about estate planning attorneys, is there a difference? I think I've heard often that people go to their estate planning attorney to actually, get help with their finances and other things that they need. Do you find that they're also providing some of the services that you are, maybe just the referrals? I mean, how does that work?
Well, part of our assessment when we meet a new family is legal. We ask questions about their advanced planning. We ask questions about their finances. And if we feel that they need to consult an estate planning attorney or an elder law attorney, we make referrals to those people. They can help them with estate planning, with some Medicaid planning. They can, some of them do know about facilities, and they do make recommendations to people. But they are a specialty, just like we're a specialty. We're not going to give legal advice. We're not going to give financial planning advice. So everyone has their specialty, and we really prefer to work as a team.
That's really awesome. So you talked a lot about, just people, my spouse, or this is happening, I want to bring my family member closer. And what I was hearing is, the timing of when to contact you, it just varies. Or can you talk to us about when we should actually consider hiring or looking for someone in geriatric care? Is there, sometimes we wait until we're in a crisis event. Sometimes we wait until it's like, oh my God, this is happening, this is going on, and then someone tells us about you and who you are. So it's kind of like a reactive state. But can you provide me or us any kind of information that kind of helps us to move more in a proactive state opposed to being reactive? What do you recommend?
That's a very good question. So many people are in crisis when they contact a geriatric care manager. Their loved one has fallen and broken their hip, and they're in the hospital, and the hospital's saying we're going to discharge your parent.
Right.
And it's like, where are they going to go? Who's going to take care of them? Or they're in the next stage after a hospitalization, they're in a rehab facility, and the rehab facility is saying, their time here is over. We're going to discharge them. And they're going, where are they going to go?
Wow.
Who's going to take care of them? Recently, I've had several families who've come to me, not in crisis, and it's really a great opportunity for families because it starts the communication process, it starts the thought process of what lies down the road, and it allows people to take some time to investigate options for care, to interview some home care companies, or to go and visit some assisted living facilities at their leisure. And this way they're educating themselves ahead of the need.
That's
and
really good.
Then if something comes up, they're more prepared and more ready to take action. Dealing with a crisis, your emotions are so involved, you're fraught with tension, and it's a very difficult time to try to be making some of these plans and decisions.
Yeah, and as I think about it, as you were talking, I was just thinking, we talk about pediatricians, you have the baby and they tell you at this age you're going to have these shots, and before you go to school you need to do this, and then we move along, and as women, you need to see a doctor for this and that. And I was just wondering if we were, doing what we needed to do to let, as we grow in age, as we now become caregivers for our parents, if there's any information out there. So that was really good. I appreciate you sharing that. Well, let's talk a little bit about this field not being regulated. I heard recently that it's not regulated, and I thought, I wonder if that would bring me concern, or is that kind of a relief? I know sometimes with regulations, it imposes limitations on what people can do, but then sometimes, because we're not regulated, we don't have the follow-up that we actually need to bring sometimes peace of mind or security. Could you speak about that a little bit? I mean, what's your take? What's been your experience as far as this field and not being regulated?
I'd be glad to. When you say regulated, I think sometimes nationally the term people are licensed to be geriatric care managers, and they are not. There is a National Association of Professional Geriatric Care Managers, and this has been a concern of theirs over many years, and they took a bold step several years ago to require that practitioners be certified. And there are 4 certifying bodies. Some is education, experience, and examination. And so the certification is fairly new to the profession. I think that the profession has worked diligently to develop very strong standards of practice and ethical guidelines, and these are available for anyone to look at. In fact, it's probably a good idea for us to share those with our clients so they can see that we really take this very seriously. It's an honor to serve, and we want to make sure that we practice the highest standard. There, I recommend to people that they look at the credentials of the care manager if they're wanting to hire one, that they investigate how long they've been in practice. They ask questions about what are the areas that they cover, such as assessment, assistance with placement, crisis intervention, information and referral. There are some very typical categories that many of us practice in, and it's not unusual for people to ask for referrals from previous clients. Just like you would when you're shopping for any professional, an attorney or a financial planner or certified public accountant, that you would want to vet the person because you're making an important decision.
Right. Well, listening to you now, you triggered something in me. When we spoke last, I think I shared with you then that at the age of 29, I lost my first husband to brain cancer.
Yeah.
Well, when we were talking before about timing, he was 30 years old, 31 years old when he was diagnosed. Would I come to you for his care when I think of aging family services? And we talked about the timing and, is that a time, for people to come seek you for services, or would he not fit because of his age? How does that work? Is it because he's an adult? How does that work?
Once again, you've asked an excellent question, and that is another thing that we as the profession struggle with. There has been some conversation about changing our name because not all of our clients are elderly. They're not all geriatric.
Okay.
What we do is know the system. We know how to navigate the system, and the system of care, it applies equally to a geriatric person as it does to a younger person. Disability and illness can strike at any time, and when people need help figuring out what to do and how to do, those issues aren't a whole lot different.
Wonderful. Well, Ms. Cheryl, thank you so much for taking the time just to speak with us today. I have other questions and things I'm going to want to talk to you about. Is that okay?
Let's do this again.
All right, let's do this again. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm sure that you've heard some things that have just encouraged you. It's just provided you with so much information, so much more knowledge and understanding about what Ms. Cheryl Theriault and her staff does here with Age and Family Services. I encourage you, pick up the phone, send them an email even, talk to them, ask the questions, find out what it is that you need to know. I appreciate even what she just said. No matter the age, when you have someone that's in need, realize and know that here in Raleigh, North Carolina, you also have some service providers that are here for you. Don't hesitate to give them a call. Thanks so much for watching. Have a good day.